back in his newest adventure for the Wii, besides Sonic Chronicles Unleashed. Sonic and the Black Knight. This game is in fact a sequel of Sonic and the Seven Rings, which in my book was not really a Sonic game, because it had nothing to do with Sonic. But this game is a little of a Fire Emblem, Mario, and Sonic thing. First, if you have 100 rings and you get hit, don't worry, you don't lose all your rings. You just get less than 20, which makes this game a little easy. Okay, but fun. Fire Emblem has enemies and time and swords and stuff. I mean, yeah, just like Sonic and Seven Rings, characters are familiar, and some of them you have to fight. And Sonic and the Seven Rings are only three characters familiar. Eggman, which is a king. Tails, I forget what he was, and Knuckles. Now they have a whole lot of them. Tails is a blacksmith, and I don't know what happened to Eggman because I never played through enough. Amy was a queen. Blaze, Shadow, and Knuckles were knights to fight the Sonic, the Hedgehog. No, probably when I'm stuttering, I didn't practice before. I'm sorry. So if you hear me stuttering, that's probably why. Oh, there are some cool cutscenes. The first cutscene of the game was awesome. I wish they kept all the cutscenes like this. Although they do have anime cutscenes from like the design of the anime TV show Sonic X. Except a little slower, like a 8-bit game. But still, that's how they do the cutscenes in that game. I'll also admit the speed is kind of cool. And the power-ups as well. But instead of rings flying everywhere, we get butterflies or fairies. Yeah, fairies. And you only get rings by barrels. And one per barrel. That really helped with it. And if you beat enough enemies and enough red fairies, you do a surge hit. You hold down the B button on the ground and in air, then swing. You also have a homing attack, not with a remote hit. All you have to do is A while you're in air. There are some things I couldn't do, but still, even if you didn't succeed, it still gives you another mission to do. That's great, thought up. So player 2, well, there's no CPU stuff, and you need another nunchuck. One time, but be careful, you need a second player. If you put the second player in and you forget the nunchuck, it keeps on saying, nunchuck disconnected from player 2. If you disconnect the player 2, there's no way to escape the screen of player 2 remote disconnected. Although, after certain bosses, you can unlock certain characters. Like if you encounter the blacksmith tails, you get the blacksmith tails. If you beat certain bosses, which are the three knights, you get the original Shadow, Knuckles, and Blaze. Which is cool. Yes? Although, some things do return from Sonic and Seven Rings. Like this other person who's a witch and a genie helps you on your journey. Well, for a while, and then she disappears for no apparent reason whatsoever. Except, yeah. Also, there's a sword that talks to you. His name is Soul Calibur. And he helps you on your journey. He keeps throwing you knee, and you can go up different levels. Knightness. First you start as a knee, which he keeps calling you, so it's blatantly obvious. If you beat certain knights, you get leveled up. Also, another thing that returns is, well, the points, those little circle things. And the sound effects, too. Do like certain bosses, too. This is this King Arthur guy. He's immortal. It's your job to get all three of the boss knights, the first three sites. And it has to be all three of those knight bosses besides King Arthur to get the three swords that they have. Well, one of Knuckles' knight guy things. Also, a thing I admire is the storyline. It just gets bigger and bigger, which every game should in movies. Although there are some rumors of a new super form that Sonic has. I'm not sure if that's true, but let's just hope it is. This is a game you can pick up and play if you have a Wii. And it's only for the Wii. Not for Xbox 360, PS3, and PS2 port. It's just the Wii, like Sonic and Seven Rings. might I say, it is kind of cool. They have a lot of stuff in this game. Well, before I give my score of something out of 10, let's just go through and recap. It has great graphics of what the Wii could do. It brings back old faces, turn into new characters. It has a great two-player thing. The adventure mode gets bigger and bigger for storyline, yet it does get slowed down by certain things, like swords and cliff sliding downward with your sword. And there's some things you might not know, but they didn't teach you before. Although, when you get the sword before, you encounter the sword, so that's kind of awkward. So I'm giving this game, well, it's hard. I think I should give this game 8 out of 10. Rent it before you buy it, and if you like it, I definitely recommend this game. Definitely. Okay, as you already know, I'm reviewing Super Mario 64, but I have something to announce before I start to review it. I have a piece of paper that I wrote everything I'm going to say on, so I won't stutter that much. If I do, then it's probably because I can't read my own handwriting. That's horrible. So, yeah, let's just start the review. Mario has finally made it in the third dimension. Like almost every other game character should have a chance in the third dimension. Mario brings us some good and a small portion of bad things in this game. The date of the game when it was created was 1996, and the DS version in 2006 was a little wonky. The original was way better. In every 3D Mario platformer, you start with 5 lives, and in this game, you have the 8-way health bar. 8. And you can lose your health in many ways, like getting hit by an enemy, jumping off a very high platform to a very lower platform, lava, very cold water, fire, sometimes electricity, and even going underwater too long. Although it's really easy to replenish your health, just to let you know. You can do it by getting coins, starting a new level, or going from underwater to the surface. There's a total of 120 stars in this game. The way you get stars is to jump into a painting, pick the star you want to do, the title will give you a hint of what you have to do to get the star, and some of them aren't even in paintings. They're in hidden entrances, trap doors, and helping friends, like toads, rabbits, everything else. If you do have 120 stars, you can do multiple things, like play every level you already did, again. Or go up to the top of the Mushroom Kingdom, buy a cannon that you opened with the 120 stars. Up there, you'll find more power-ups like the flying thing, explore Mushroom Kingdom even more. 3 extra lives besides in Yoshi. This gives you 100 extra lives. Like every Mario game should have, this game has timed power-ups. All of them are timed. The invisible hat makes you intangible and invisible. The winged hat, it can make you fly in several different directions. And the metal hat, which can make you metal. It's heavier, makes you sink to the bottom. You can't swim. You're invincible. The only downside about it is that you have limited jumping momentum. You could die easily with a power-up, even if you don't want to die. When the game was released, the graphics were great at the time of 64. The music, well, I wish the music was in my iPod. Seriously, good music. Lastly, the sound effects were mild at the time, and voices too, and the controls are simple in the Wii version. This game automatically gets a 10 out of 10. You'll be playing this for a very, 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 very long time. Okay, hope you enjoyed that one. Let's see. If you love the TV show Simpsons, and you hate the Simpsons games, then you might still want to pick this up. This is a big straight up. Ever since Simpsons Arcade came around, which you guys go first, good job. Because I can't find footage, yeah. This is like a sequel to Simpsons Arcade game. It's actually the second only greatest Simpson game, because the other ones don't really work for the Simpson franchise. We're talking about big action here. We get to play 3 characters at once. Oh, well, not really at once, but we get to play as Marge, Bart, aka Bartman, and Homer. Playing as Bart, you can glide around by holding the A button, and he has a bat following around. Playing as Homer, he can turn into a giant ball and roll over anyone by spinning the remote. And Marge has the ability to make angry mobs, which I didn't get that far though. Although she does have a torch, you know. Although showing this game does make a big effort. Episodes like, yeah. By solving puzzles, you'll need the help of either Homer or Bart. They usually work together ever since they found this little magazine called Simpsons Game, where they find out they have video game powers, which are used around the levels. The first level brings Homer to a dream. He thinks he's not dreaming and just wants to dream. He's dreaming of a random chocolate. Doesn't have the same songs, but oh well. Next is your tutorial mode. Your A button can jump, but by pressing it in the air, can do a double jump. But Homer's not able to wall jump though. So, yeah, just try and get up there, but if you want to jump, just try. Also, you also have combat. Mostly the BBBs, but now you have BBA. And by getting more of this, you'll be getting a lot of stuff. After beating the first boss, which is pretty easy to beat, all you have to do is have a normal kind of ability. You have the ability to turn into Ball Homer by eating white chocolate. You're going to do this in the 3rd level. Although Bart's part of the story wants to buy a game, Grand Theft Scratchy, but Marge doesn't want him to. Marge gets angry at the game and causes everyone to be an angry mob against the game and doesn't want anyone to buy the game. Now that that's solved, we can do this. By solving multiple puzzles, it'll be easier to play the game, like pressing buttons and placing your characters at the right spot, which will be great. Also, this game does have bad camera angles. You can fix them, but not while you're moving. That just causes very much horrible just check this out. What? See, I'm like turning around multiple things, but still, it's great. It's a great game. And it's a very good drawback. Look at the cutscenes, though. You'll see that cutscenes look exactly just like the Simpsons game. I mean, TV show. Isn't that amazing? This game does have one thing that the Simpsons game versions don't. I'm talking about the 360 and PlayStation 2 versions. And there's also more versions I'd like to get into, but I don't have a 360. But I do have PlayStation 2. I might get into that review though. I'm into it later time. Since I rent it. This is a rent, so I better get on it quick. So, it has a Wii moment where you have to eat bad and not healthy foods, which will work quite nicely. Very good. By shifting the remote at a certain area, you'll be able to eat the food or the plate. Well, that's for the first round. The second one, which is in level 3, you'll eat multiple of one food. Okay, don't. And make sure you have A, B, and then swing remote to help things out. Oh, look, about the bad things. I think I already went into the camera angles pretty nicely. But just in case you didn't hear me, let me explain again. It's hard to change the camera angles while you move. But don't expect this game to be like this. Don't expect it. And well, another thing about it is that little kids won't really react good to this game. No, they won't really. Because there's a language and some things they might see. But who am I kidding? They'll do it anyway. I know. I've seen those kids. They'll act cool instead of action. He just act cool. His definition of cool. I was like, oh yeah. So, while I give myself the score of the Simpsons game, let me just say, don't hate me. Don't hate the creator of the Simpsons. Don't hate me either if I get the score. You're probably expecting them to be 10 out of 10. Well, this game has, well, let's review the good and the bad aspects of this game. The good thing about this game, great controls, great Wii moment, and it's one of the only good Simpson games. Next, for the bad things, not for the little kids because of the language and things they might see, and the camera angles can't be fixed while you're moving, and there's a lot of things that hit you. So, I'm giving this game an 8 out of 10. Like this game, or you hate The Simpsons.
What? Damn it, I was screaming! Why is life so unfair? All I want is the ability to eat everything in sight and turn into a giant ball! Is that too much, man? Damn you, reality!
Hey guys, it's JETRAY 103 here with my first ever review on a video game. Well, in general, I did have a video in general, but a review of 2 reviews, Mario 64, Sonic Black Knight, a bunch of other stuff. And here's my first ever review of JETRAY 103. So, get started. What's the rules for my reviews? I had to beat at least the first level, or at least until I get enough gameplay to know what it's like. 2, it has to be a game I own, and it can't be a PC, so that PC reviews aren't on. So anyway, let's get started with Contra III, The Alien Wars, for the Super Nintendo. Let's plug this bad boy in. Let's just plug this guy in my Super Nintendo. Flip that switch and turn it on. Maybe not yet.
I'll always begin my reviews with the story. So, the story begins at 26:36 AD. It's just a normal day. Yeah, you think it's gonna be all good, but it's gonna be an even better day. Well, you're wrong. Aliens decide to decimate the entire city to start alien wars. Well, it's kind of dramatic. Not really. It's the wars, and wars mean destroying cities. And it's off to Bill Reiser to stop the alien wars. By the way, there are no codes in the US version. Only in the Japanese version there are codes. Darn the Japanese. Next, I usually go for the controls. Now, the controls for this game, you use the B button to jump, the X button to shoot. I think it's the X button. Or is it the Y button? I think it's the X button. And you use the A button to use your nuke. I believe the X button, I don't know what that does. And the R and L button, I think that switches your weapon. And of course the D-pad lets you move. And if you hold it down, you're able to crouch and you're able to choose where to shoot. So, let's get started. Now the challenge ranges from hard to so hard I can't even move. It's every like almost 5 seconds to die. And it's really hard to pass the first level. To tell you the truth, it was easier to go for the first Contra because you have the 30 lives code. But this Contra doesn't even have any codes for the US version, like I mentioned earlier. So, good luck trying to pass the first level. I only could do that once, and I can never pass the second level, as I'm doing this review now. And, well, thanks for watching my review. If you want to watch a longer review, go to Irate Gamer or look up Contra III Alien Wars review, or something like that, because I don't want to waste too much time, and I know it has 15 minutes, but still. So let's get the scoring down. Let's see. It has solid controls, an interesting story, and the gameplay is kind of challenging, which is good. I gave Contra III Alien Wars a 10 out of 10. Yes, I'm back to doing 10 again, in case you guys were wondering, if you saw my other reviews, in Jetreviews 103, which is down. Yeah, stuff. Today's zombie games are usually first-person shooters, but that's not the case here. Back in the Super Nintendo days, first-person shooters were only done by the NES Zapper, or arcades. So not many first-person shooters are on SNES, but is Zombie Ate My Neighbors not a first-person shooter, but is it still a great game? Is there any way to find out? Yes, by just standing there and dying. What's the point in Zombies Ate My Neighbors? To save your neighbors from being eaten from the zombies. The weapons you use to kill your zombies are ranged from 1, effective and powerful, and 2, strange and unusual.
Which makes zombies like, get away, get away, my grenade, crap!
Different neighbors means different points. It could be from saving a dog, which is 5,000 points, to saving a grandma, which is 10 points. Apparently grandmas aren't really that important. You'll find zombies in multiple areas, but you won't always find zombies, which is strange. Because the title says Zombies Ate My Neighbors, yet sometimes you won't find zombies, but mostly you will. Sometimes you'll find crazed dolls with axes, which are really hard to kill. Controls for the game, well, they're very simple. Use the D-pad to move, the Y button to shoot, the B button to change weapon, and so on and so on. Sometimes you can use the R button to make a map, which is really useful if you're really lost. The only things I bad with this game is that sometimes you feel like you're going around a maze instead of the area you are, which sometimes it is. Sometimes you'll need a key to get to certain areas, and your neighbors are in the area, but finding a key, sometimes it blends in with the background, but mostly it doesn't. And finding a key is like finding a needle in a haystack. And that's all I have wrong with the game. Plus, getting aimed down at certain weapons is pretty hard, but that's a minor problem. Music sometimes is really important in the Super Nintendo days, and especially in the Super Nintendo days. And I mean Super Nintendo days. And I say it has pretty good music. My favorite music was In the Mall and The Pyramid. And those are my favorite tracks. If you want to go see them, look them up. overall, it's a pretty decent game to have with you. And I mean decent, I mean pretty good. It all depends. I feel like these kind of games where it's like an overhead view, then you probably play Zelda. I'm not going to give a rating anymore because I feel as if I'm stealing stuff from CG01, which I understand because he's freaking awesome. So go look him up. So no more ratings. All I'm going to say is if I recommend it or not, and I definitely recommend it for your Super Nintendo collection. Unless you hate Wii Games, then you hate Zelda. To end this review, I'm going to show you a clip from my old review for this game.
Oh my god, that's so me!
If you were born in the 80s or the 70s, and if you got an NES back in the 80s, you usually got the NES itself, 2 controllers, the NES Zapper, and a combination of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. A classic combination which never lets gamers down. Today, some people are even still selling that combination. I went to the flea market to get an NES. They gave me that specific combination. That's awesome. There are 2 games on the Super Mario and Duck Hunt game, as you already know, Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt. Today, I'm reviewing Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt has 3 kinds of games. Game A, where you shoot 1 duck at a time. Game B, shoots 2 ducks at a time. And Game C, lets you shoot flying disc, which I say is the worst game, and you'll see why.
To play Duck Hunt on your Nintendo Entertainment System, you will need the NES controller on your number 1 and the Zapper on your 2. You can't access the menu from the gun, and you can't pause without the controller, so you practically need both. It's like Rob. You need 2 controllers to play with him.
When you start playing any of the duck-based games, a duck will come up, and so with the theme, you'll go behind the grass. And when a duck comes up, you have to shoot it. And I have to say, the shooting is very off. I say that's kind of understandable. You're terrible! It's understandable because it's one of the first first-person shooter games ever to be on a console. So it's not really the best first-person shooter. As you can see, I couldn't even get a single shot. I'm sorry, that is terrible. That is just terrible. It makes me want to load this thing with a real pistol and shoot myself in the head with it. And the only time you have a 100% chance of getting a shot is if you put the controller, the Zapper, right on the screen. That is terrible. If you think I made this review just to insult the entire game, I'd say my favorite part of the game is to shoot 2 ducks. It seems that that's the only time that I can actually get a shot. I don't know why. Until I get to the 3rd part of it, then I can only get 1. I don't know why. Every time that happens, I can only get 5 in a row, and then, yeah. But that was because, probably more targets and more of a chance against it. So if you think all you do is shoot ducks, then you're sadly mistaken. You can also shoot these discs, which are very, very harder to shoot, because when the only time you can shoot them is when they're really up close, but they're too fast. But when they're far away, they're really, really hard to hit, and even when I do hit them, it doesn't count. But there is no dog that laughs at you when you fail, so that's a plus. At the end of each game, they'll tally up your score. And if you have like 3 or under, then you failed the level. But if you have like more than that, then you can go to the next round. Another thing I hate about the game is that there's no background music to the game. The only music you do hear is at the beginning or at the end of a round. And I don't think they're really good tunes. Probably because hunters work in silence so that the prey don't get away. And make sure that everything is caught. Or they were just lazy and thought those were the only tunes they added and everyone would love it. Overall, I think the game has potential, but it doesn't show its full potential. So, if you want a game to play on that, I'd recommend you go to the Super Mario Brothers game instead of this. Unless you're a person that shoves their controller right into the screen. Yeah. Unless you're not. No, please, I don't want any more cheap ducks in my life. Get them away. I don't want them cheating on me anymore. No, stop! You get away from that screen!
The house of the dead. Overkill.
They're the ones I won.
I've been wanting to do this review for a very, very long time. Ever since K-Wing's review of this game. It's the only other Halloween game I have besides Sonic Homecoming. So without further ado, let's get reviewing. Two people who are never meant to meet. Detective Washington and Agent G. But what does the G stand for?
You ever gonna tell me what that fucking G stands for? No.
Well, then I'm not gonna tell you that JETRAY 103 actually means the alien. JETRAY from the... Oh crap! The main objective of the game is to shoot the zombies that are standing in your way to get to the end area boss. I don't have any footage of the boss because my batteries died when I got close to him. Anyway, to get to the end of the level, you're gonna need help. Usually a second player, or the power-ups. Here are some of them. One of the power-ups is the green thing that looks like DNA, which can slow down time. Even the narrator and your menu and your health bar as well. Even they can be slowed down. And the voice actors can be slowed down as well. And this also gives easier time to aim your shots. There's also a brain that could give you 1,000 points, and a health box which restores your health. You don't move with the analog stick. You can do it without the nunchuck. It moves on its own. It's one of those first-person shooters. I think the House of the Dead is what introduced those first-person shooters. You use the B button to shoot, and the A button to reload. You also use the 1 button to throw grenades, and of course the plus button lets you pause the game. When you're in the need for a new weapon, you can always go to the gun shop. You can get upgrades to your old weapons, a new gun, as long as you have enough money from the last level you went to. I have to warn you, this game is not for kids. You may think I'm a kid, but I'm actually 14. But I'd say this game's rated for 18 though. Yeah, I'm 14, I have the game, but if you're a person like me that can withstand blood and swear words, because Detective Washington uses the F-bomb so many times, and there's a lot of blood and gore in the game, and...
Freaking head?
Shit, man, that ain't right. Hell, see, motherfucker.
Yeah, I used the same clip a third time, but this is for something you probably already saw. There's a new feature in the game. It's called Save the Civilian. It's where the civilian just stands there, and you have to shoot the zombies that are in the way. And if you kill the zombies, they'll run and give you 5,000 points. But if you shoot the civilian, or the zombies kill the civilian, then you lose points. The graphics are pretty good for a game made by SEGA. Same goes for the music and the voice actors. If you don't think the graphics are perfect, just because this game is meant to take place in the 70s, kind of like a 70s film. In fact, that's what the cutscenes are. Kind of like, they look like 70s films, where it was all fuzzy, but it had color. Overall, this game is great for both new first-person shooters, old first-person shooters, horror film game lovers, and others, and also veterans of the House of the Dead series. If you're not a fan, and you never played the House of the Dead series, you love first-person shooters, I recommend you give this one a try, unless you're phobic or just don't like these kind of games. Overall, then I don't recommend it for you, and if you don't like first-person shooters, then I also don't recommend it for you. Overall, it's a pretty good game, and yeah.
One of the most popular and addicting puzzle games for the NES, Tetris, a family favorite. My stepfather, my sister, and I love it. The only person that doesn't play it is my mom. And that's the only other human being in this house. I'm not counting pets. Tetris is really fun. If you don't know what a Tetris is, it's a shape with 4 of the same shapes. And every shape in here has 4 blocks. What is a point of Tetris? Well, when you put a block down, it stays there. Although when you put an entire row of blocks, it disappears. You can pull off combos like 2 rows, 3 rows, and even 4 rows of blocks. And when you get 4 rows, the screen flashes, which could hurt your eyes. Now this is a Nintendo version, so you're not going to see the awesome Atari version. That is really, really hard to come by since it only was there for a very short amount of time. And I have to admit, that one looks cool though. When you first start your Tetris game, you get a couple of options. Game A and Game B. Game A is your basic Tetris, and Game B is kind of like Dr. Mario, but you're going to have to get rid of all the blocks that are just floating in the air. You can also choose your music. My sister really likes Music 1, and so do I. You also get to choose your difficulty. And if you choose Game B, you'll get something else to choose, but I forgot what that was. Now, if you play the Atari version, then you probably would know that the Atari version has a multiplayer. And this one is missing multiplayer. In fact, we just have a big thing in the middle. There's no multiplayer. Oh, no, that's... oh well. After completing a level, the blocks change color, and the blocks go down faster. And when the blocks go up higher enough, all the music starts over and goes really fast. And that gets really irritating for some of the gamers, because there's no really bad points in the game. It's not a bad point. And it's more challenge. It knows it's like, oh, we know you're gonna die, so just give up right now. Yeah. But if you can still get yourself back down, either a master or you're just lucky. Yeah, I'm probably just lucky. Or I'm a Tetris master. I've seen reviews of Tetris saying that it's bad or boring or the only thing that changes is the speed of the blocks go down. Seems like the only people that know what they're talking about are Irate Gamer and K-Wing. And I'm sure that the CGR and that other guy who works in the company channel, and I'm sure CJ01 has the same opinion. So basically, I got the top reviewers on my side, most likely. So basically, 3 of 4 of our family members play Tetris. It's really fun, has great music, and the only bad points is that there's no multi. He is one of the most recognizable Nintendo characters, not counting Mario or Link, playable in Smash Bros., yet one of the most unappreciated video game peripherals for the NES, Rob the freaking Robot. His design may look familiar if you played Smash, but it's kind of a different design if you look at it from today's standards. This is the American version of Rob. The Japanese version, this part is white and this part is red. And it was called the FCR. Family, Computer, Robot, whatever the heck it's called. But here it's the Rob. Robotic Operating Buddy. Has a little on-off switch right here in the back. But you're going to need like a ton of batteries put into it, like 6. Like about 6, I'd say. The point in Rob is to be a second player in case no one wants to play classic NES games with you. But he only lets you play the 2 games, Stack Up and Gyromite. Gyromite came with this when I got it from eBay. And yeah, now it's here with me forever, in eternity. Yeah. Nice, Rob. Currently, I only have the Rob, not the pieces. But the pieces are really expensive. On eBay, anyway. 100 pieces for $100 for 1 Gyromite. 1! Who does that? I mean, a Rob, I don't know how much this was, but I bet it was between 100 or 600. Because I saw this one robot, it was $600 on eBay. What? Cheapest one was like 20. And I didn't get that because, reasons I got pissed off at. The main issues with Rob is that he's so slow and so noisy that he's kind of hard to play with. It makes it almost impossible to play games like Gyromite. I'll review that game later as soon as I get the other pieces of Rob. He's able to move his body parts back and forth, move his body up and down to get the pieces. And he comes with a total of 5 pieces. This is where the second controller is going to be. This is where the, this is probably where the gyro mites go. The, spinner is probably going to be right here. Bunch of all that. I don't know, really. I do know, because of Irate Gamer, but I don't know, because I forgot. And I haven't seen Irate Gamer in, like, forever, because he hasn't been making videos in a long time. Yeah. Even though I can't play Rob, I still think he's pretty cool to have. And why? Well, A, to increase your Nintendo collection, like, I would say with the Power Glove, or the, Super Scope for the Super Nintendo, or just kind of like an action figure, or whatever you want it to be. It could be a little action figure, it could be a little home buddy, whatever you want it to be. He even nods his head. Yes, we know that, Rob. So, not much to say about Rob, but, if you wanted him to play a game, I'd say skip it, because he only has 2 games you could play with him, and he's really slow and noisy, but if you wanted him just to have him, he's awesome. Right, buddy? God, seriously, what's wrong with you? I'm kidding, I love you, I'm sorry! Oh god, these NES scams are so big. Oh. People wanted to keep the NES games safe, especially today, since they're really old and easily damageable, if you didn't keep them safe. The one way to keep them safe is to use the one thing that nobody uses anymore, the NES Sleeve. Yes, Super Mario Bros. 3. What else would be in there? It's like the best NES game ever. The NES Sleeve is meant to keep your NES game safe from damage that could go in the inserter, yet still tell you what game you're playing on this end, but if you don't, unless you didn't have the common sense to look up the top. And you're still able to pick it up just by doing this, because of this part. It's to be easier to pull it out. So, how well does this work, and how easy it is to use it? I'm going to tell you. If you have an NES game that you really like, and you don't want it to get damaged, like Super Mario Bros. 3, I think anyone would love that, all you have to do is get your slide, and shove it in there. And even a monkey can do it. See, I just did it with one hand. See, it's easy to use and great to use. It's like video game cases for your disc. Except, easier to open and easier to, you know, work. I got this at the Morningstar flea market down in Spring Grove for $10. Well, the game was $10, but it came with the instruction manual, which I think I lost, and the sleeve, which I thought I'd keep, because I have a favorite game that I'd like to keep in here, so I keep it safe. But for now, I'm putting Super Mario Bros. 3 in here until that day comes. Now I have like 15 NES games, so because of D&D's flea market, Game World, the Morningstar flea market. When I first saw this, I'm like, what the heck is this? And then I looked and thought, hey, it's easy to use, and you also can use it to keep instruction manuals in here, but not just your game, instruction manuals, cheat codes, Game Genie codes, passwords for later on you play. So it's not just for your NES games, it's also for those things you might need for later on, like instruction manuals. In fact, that's where I found the instruction manual in here. It was the game. So, if you want to keep your password safe from your annoyance, I'm talking about the one behind that guy, just put them in here, or just keep it somewhere high up. Or just keep it in here, because it's also slobber protection. Hooray! So it's easy to use, and not just use to hold your game, hold your passwords and all that. It can keep your game safe for as long as you want, unless it fell from the sky. There's no way of protecting that. Unless it fell on a pillow, then. Keeps from water protection, anything that could get into the, game's thing. It protection from that, protection from dust, and it also used to keep your manuals and passwords. So, I'd say if you have one of these, keep them, because who knows, maybe you could go on eBay or a flea market and find an NES game that you really like or you really want to keep safe. So, this is 003 signing off. Yeah, I know you see me. Don't look at me, you weirdo. Oh, God! No! Shit! Some people say Mario is stupid, idiotic, but I beg to disagree.
And the NES version, some people still say it's stupid, but I also beg to disagree. If it wasn't for this game, we probably wouldn't have video games today. And if we did, we'd probably still be stuck in the 16-bit days. Because if it wasn't for this game, video games are being removed off shelves at the time. And before you knew it, if it wasn't for Nintendo, we wouldn't have video games at all. So stop complaining about Nintendo. Because we wouldn't have Halo, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, Sonic the Hedgehog if it wasn't for Nintendo. So stop complaining. The NES game is really fun and addictive. If I had to make a top 10 list, this is obviously my top 5. Might see that coming soon. I don't know. I don't know. The gameplay is very simple. All you have to do is get from point A to point B. Also known as from the start of the level to the flag, or the pipe, or whatever you want to consider, or to Princess Peach. So, gameplay is very simple, yet it can be very easy. This game doesn't have passwords, so you think you're screwed if you had to go through, well, 32 levels? Well, there are some secrets that can get you past to the next 4 worlds or something like that. There are only 4 powers, and you only see 2 the most. The coin, which gives you 1 coin, which gives you 100 to get extra life. The mushroom, which gets you bigger and which you have an extra hit. The fire flower, which you turn your enemies to crisp. With 1 hit and you're down to Little Mario. And the star, which basically makes you invincible and you have that awesome tune for only a handful of seconds though. The music in this game is always so memorable. But I have to hint that the later ones are even more memorable. There's only 2 problems I have with the game. One is that you always have to fight Bowser, and the only difference is he throws hammers later on, there are blocks to get in your way, or a platform gets removed, and Lakitu, my arch nemesis. He caused me the most lives to die. All you do is run through, but the spines he throws can be freaking annoying. In the end, Super Mario Brothers or the NES is a classic. Without it, we probably wouldn't have video games today. So for you who are still ripping on it because of this video, don't. Or I will smite you with my sitar. Yeah. I love you. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleeve, a story about 3 Keyblade wielders, Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, all wanting the same dream, to become a Keyblade Master. Each go on their own journey to different worlds, but quickly change near the end. But all have one main purpose, to defeat the Unversed, which are fledgling emotions that have taken the form of monsters, and are somehow connected to Master Xehanort, who has gone missing, and the masked boy, Vanitas, who keeps talking about Ventus. I'm not going to spoil it, since the game only released like almost half a year ago, so I'm not going to spoil it. The gameplay has drastically changed from what it was in Kingdom Hearts 2. Instead of going to different slots that have attack, magic, and items, now you have a whole slot that has 8 different slots which you can put attacks, like Fire, Quick Blitz, Strike Away, Cure, and Elixir. After you use it once, you're going to wait for it to recharge. So if you get attacked before you use anything, and it cancels, you're going to have to wait for it to recharge. It happens to me a lot, as you can see here. Although, 3 new things have been added into the game to replace the drives and the limits. The limit breaks, lock shots, and D-lines. Limit breaks where you pull off certain moves and you make a command bar go all the way up. That would go into a phase where you pull off multiple attacks that has something to do with that move. Like if you go fire, and then you go into Fire Blaze, or whatever it's called. In the end, you're going to pull off a powerful move, then it cancels. Lock shots where you're able to lock on to all the enemies that get into the little circle, and you're able to pull off multiple projectiles to go at them. Or you're going to have to hit buttons at certain times, or rapidly just hit them. D-Links, short for Dimension Links, are able to borrow your friend's powers and use them against the Unversed. No, your weapon does not change, which I found very disappointing, but the attacks and your commands do as well. Also, like the limit breaks, able to end off in a powerful move. Stickers are a new thing too. If you see a crown somewhere floating up there which could be difficult to get, all you have to do is grab it and you have a sticker. You do not really serve much of a purpose unless you're playing Birth by Sleep Final Mix, which only unlocks the secret episode. I don't know how, but somehow it does. They serve as not really much of a purpose at all. You can put them on a page that has the character in Disney Town on there, and I'm really confused on how it works. I mean, I've done it before. It doesn't really serve that much of a purpose. I mean, it's kind of pointless if you ask me, unless you're playing Final Mix. One thing really easy in the game is getting the worlds. You don't have to play some stupid gummy ship level, which I found really pointless. All you have to do is get to the world, press the button, and you're there, unless you're playing Deep Space. Then that's a different story. You're going to have to play one of those levels. But to tell you the truth, after playing the Deep Space, it's really fun when you ask me. But I wish they did the gummy ship levels like that. That would be freaking amazing, if you ask me. One thing I hated about the Kingdom Hearts series is that you couldn't replay bosses. I know the Kingdom Hearts series is about exploring, but honestly my favorite part is the bosses. They're really fun and challenging. But that's where the Mirage Arena comes in. You're able to go in, go fight multiple enemies along your friends that have PlayStation Network, or online PSP, or anything like that. And you're able to fight multiple enemies, ending off in a boss you fought earlier in the game, or one completely new just for the Mirage Arena. And I freaking love it. I'm still in the middle of trying to get to the one that's after this one, but if you ask me, it's freaking amazing! I could give small complaints about Cure not coming quick enough when I want it to, or the first person view not being as good as it was in Kingdom Hearts 2, but I'm not that kind of person. This is about the Cure thing that really got to me. Anyway, I'm not that kind of person. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is an amazing game. If you have a PSP, I really recommend you have it. Get it. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, get a PSP. They have an limited edition Birth by Sleep packet that comes with a PSP, or the other way around. That's where I got my Birth by Sleep copy at. Anyway, I don't know if they're still doing it, but anyway, Birth by Sleep is an amazing big game, and still is to date. So, it's worth it, man.
Right. I know what you're thinking. Oh god, he's starting to do reviews again like in 2010. This is gonna suck. Well, I've learned from my mistakes, got a better video game recording software rather than just recording the screen with a video camera, and I have a deeper voice, so people might actually take me seriously now. So let's get started with Cartoon Network, Crunch Time Explosion.
A fair warning, I will compare this game to Brawl a lot. Just a warning. Villains from different Cartoon Network TV shows are working together to take over these different dimensions that our heroes live in. Ben finds out about this and takes action right away. He meets Chowder, encounters Vilgax, who summons Kevin to destroy them, and Dexter comes in and saves them. Dexter is going to different dimensions to get people he needs to save the universe. That's basically the gist of it. It's more complex than saving a princess, but not as complex as stopping a time-traveling monster with your younger self. In the adventure mode, you'll find yourself running through places from Cartoon Network TV shows. Unlike Subspace Emissary, where we had the lake, the forest, Also, you can encounter enemies from shows like Vilgax drones, while Brawl, the only enemies you'd recognize are the Goombas and the Fires from Kid Icarus. You pick 4 or the amount of characters the game will let you and go through the level. If you lose all 4 lives, then you have to start the level all over. You can switch between characters by pressing the select button rather than just killing yourself. Another thing this game has over Brawl's adventure mode. There are also these mini games, which some are good and others aren't. I'd really rather not play them, but I don't have a choice. At least some are fun. I have only one complaint though. The amount of enemies and strength of them I can deal with, but the health bars are just ridiculous. That's the main reason I keep getting game overs. The voice actors on the 3DS version return, while some of them. The narrator is the only one who can say 4 sentences, while the other ones say either phrases or who they are.
I'm Bubble!
Yes, we know.
I'm Buttercup!
We get it!
I'm Blossom!
We get the point! I found that kind of lazy since this is a console game and we did bring back the old voice actors. So it was kind of a kick to the balls for the returning voice actors, except for Space Ghost who voiced the narrator. In the multiplayer mode, you can face off any of the characters you've unlocked. All you have to do is throw your opponent off the screen like in Super Smash Bros. You can also get items in these assists, which are very reminiscent to the assist trophies like in Brawl, which summons a character from the show who's not playable. And sometimes you can even work together with them. It's just all depending on who you're with and who you summon. Something like this in the game are final smashes. I mean punch time explosions. There's a big variety of them like the powerhouses, transformations, and damage razors. Although when I saw forearms come on the screen, I thought I was going to go around and punch everyone in the face. No. He just gets a big car, splits into 2, and throws it left and right. Way too easy to avoid. He's 4 arms, not 2 arms. Repeat with me. 4 arms. Couldn't he just get the car and split it into 4 directions? Or let me choose where I could throw the car? So I could at least get 1 kill? And Billy and Mandy's is just unoriginal. I don't even like Dragon Ball Z. I hate it, and I find it insulting. But the majority of the punch time explosions are good. Some of them aren't. Younger version of Ben, you had a lot of potential, but you wasted it. There are 8 new characters added. Young Ben, Kevin 11, Scatman, Aku, Toilinator, Hostelgado, him, and Johnny Bravo, which can be bought at the shop, where you can also buy new stages, alternate costumes, and even clips from the TV show, which I will not show because of copyright purposes. Overall, this is a good Smash clone to get if you love Cartoon Network. It has decent gameplay, even more characters, more stuff to do, and improvements from the 3DS version. My only complaints are that the enemy health bars need to be toned down, make better punch time explosions, remove the mini games in the adventure mode, and add Rex, Courage, Eddie, and Finn and Jake. If there was a sequel, why not add an Adult Swim character just for the hell of it? So if you're a Smash fan, and you watch Cartoon Network, then I suggest you get this game, and give it a try.